I think that when she said about a double standard on the media, I think that is fair. I thought that the Letterman thing, if it had happened to a Democratic woman, Letterman wouldn't have been on the air. Having said that, the fact is, she cut and run from a job. She thinks that's a lot of heat. She thinks she's got some. If this is some way, if she thinks this is a way to run for president of the United States, and you say she's got a base, her base is so small, and I've said this before, they could apply for affirmative action grants under the civil rights laws.
40% of the country, Tucker, is conservative. We just had a poll came out. Only 21% identify themselves as left-wing
lunatics? Yeah, but so she's being held to a ludicrous standard that no one else in politics is held to.
Good point.
I mean, no, I'll tell you exactly how so. Is she more clueless than Senator Byrd? Does she have a messier personal life than Ted Kennedy? Does she have less common sense than Al Gore? No. I mean, she has her shortcomings and they're on full display, but put it in context.
What are her shortcomings?
Hold on, oh, she screwed up an interview with Katie Couric.
So what?
Well, I agree, but hold on. Here's what I disagree with. I disagree with the idea that this is necessarily a political move. Why do we assume that she wants to run for president? Why would you want to run for president? Maybe she wants to go into the media.
Well, then she's just a quitter then she's just a quitter because the people of Alaska voted her in, and she selfishly quit her job without their permission. That means she's a quitter.
Is Sebelius a quitter? Is Napolitano a quitter?
Yes.
Is Rahm Emanuel a quitter? Wait a minute.
Yes.
Is Barack Obama a quitter?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Well, why you double standard?
No, I think that's very different. When we're talking about Sarah Palin, again, she quit she's got 18 months left. She quit in a rambling statement. It was completely bizarre.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I would like to say this. For Tucker Carlson to say, did you read her statement on Friday? It was one of the more incoherent. It made Stanford sound like Shakespeare.
Can I finish one thing?
Wait a second. These people left their jobs.
Aren't you glad she's leaving politics
these people, no, she's on she is. These people left their jobs to go to another job. If she's saying, I'm leaving this job to run for president of the United States, fine. Then say it. Don't say that all these lame duck people around there.
Wait a minute. Barack Obama, now the difference between Governor Palin and Barack Obama was getting paid for 18 months for doing nothing. For 18 months travel in the country so he could be a president because he had the selfish ambition you're so critical of. And similarly, Rahm Emanuel.
She didn't say that she was going to run for office. She said she's just quitting her job because she couldn't take the pressure. What's the calling?
I'm not sure I understand the complaint here. People who think Sarah Palin is dumb and or insane seem mad that she's not governing the state of Alaska, which doesn't make sense. Is the complaint that she's not working hard enough? No, that she doesn't deserve time off? That the people of Alaska need her? Like, what? It doesn't make sense, the argument.
Is that she's a quitter.
Hey, we should try not to.
But if you think she's a bad governor, shouldn't she quit?
I didn't say she was a bad governor.
If you're going to call her a quitter, then you cannot have a double standard. By your definition, Sebelius is a quitter?
No, that's wrong.
Wait a minute. No, let her answer.
These are other people.
I'm not asking you that.
Put it on the line.
Their jobs.
Put it on the line, okay, Sean, and basically said, I'm going to do something else. And this is what I'm going to do. She hasn't done that. She quit her job. We don't know what she's going to do. In the most inartful statement I think we've ever seen in politics. And to say that Americans love her, I think that's a real stretch. That's a real stretch.
We've always tried to keep this segment as a dining room table discussion, and for some reason, when we get on Palin, you get unbelievably off the wall. If I could just say one thing, the people you've mentioned, every one of them left their jobs for another job. If she would say to me, I'm leaving this job, but what did she do? She slammed every governor in the country. She said, lame duck, I'm not going to make them pay for that in Alaska. Everybody's a lame duck governor. Eventually they're going to leave, but they finished their job.
Considering you don't like a defense of her, but you know what? I'm sick and tired of the way they've treated her in the media, Bob. And hang on a second. I'm sick of a slutty flight attendant look. They've attacked her young son. They've attacked her teenage daughter. And let me give you one other difference here. Barack Obama got paid for doing nothing for the people of Illinois, and there's not a peep, there's not a word of criticism, and now we're going to get lectures from Democrats that she's a quitter? That is a total
If you remember, I said at the outset here that I thought the double standard on Letterman, so I want to make sure that we made that clear. Okay. Now, the question about whether or not she's a quitter or not, clearly, when you say Barack Obama was being paid for doing nothing, she has not been working as governor of Alaska since last August.
She has been working.
Then why are you mad that she quit? I mean, look, we should leave open the possibility that she has something completely unexpected in mind. She came out of nowhere. I don't know. I cover this stuff for a living. I didn't know I never met her before. I didn't know anybody who did know her. And in 20 minutes, she became the most famous person in America. She did. And so who knows where she'll end up.
And Barack Obama's not qualified either.
He's certainly.
You know what? I wouldn't want to be governor of Alaska.
Much more qualified. You can't even, Sean, put them in the same sentence. You can't put them in the same league.
You're right.
We're talking about an educated.
I would take Palin over Obama any day. I would take lower taxes and tough national security.
Hey, Sean, let me just ask you this. Would you feel comfortable with Sarah Palin in Moscow right now negotiating a strategic arms talk?
Oh, yeah, see it from her house.
No, you didn't say that.
You know what? Have you ever been on Capitol Hill? Have you ever met senators? How many senators do you think are smarter than Sarah Palin? I don't know. I mean, there are some. But Sarah Palin is not the dumbest person in Washington.
I'm not suggesting that. Would you have Sarah Palin? Would you like Sarah Palin to? I live there too, and I've been there for 30 years.
Right?
And I've been on Capitol Hill a lot of times. Do you think Sarah Palin is qualified to be president of the United States?
Yes, I do.
I'm not asking you.
Anybody.
I know you would say that.
I'm just saying the idea that she's the dumbest person ever to draw a breath.
Here's my last point, exit point I'm going to make, and I'm going to steal it for myself. He's going to go to Moscow at a time where we're deploying missile defense to protect Hawaii, and he's going to give away missile defense at a time North Korea is firing missiles over Japan.
He's not going to give away. He didn't. It's done. It's the finish. They had
good singer, did some dancing, but bottom line is, would you let your child or grandchild be in the same room with Michael Jackson? What are we glorifying him for?
I have a tape of him that I play on my radio show. It was in that Bashir interview when he went on and he said, well, I light a fire, I sleep with children, sure. I give them cookies and milk, and really a bizarre person. Nobody's allowed to talk about the bizarre side of Michael Jackson?
No one is allowed to talk about it. I got to tell you, I have 2 kids. I would never trust my children with him. This is a self-hating black man who didn't want to be black, who changed his appearance, he butchered himself, and he clearly molested children. Sean, you know I used to prosecute child sex crimes. It is classic abuse. I've read the transcripts. I've read the statements by these children.
Yeah, but those witnesses, I don't want to defend him because I think he was very one strange human being. But by the way, started out as a great talent. But he was acquitted in the case, and I'm talking about
witnesses, one acquittal, yes, but we're talking about 3 children. I give him the 1 kid because my experience is that children don't lie. Boys don't lie about being molested by men, Sean, and that is a statistical fact. But he also molested 2 other children, and he paid them off $20 million.
Well, why does nobody say that? I mean, I understand the human instinct not to attack people who recently died, but the orgy of adulation and throne sniffing is disgusting.
It's shameful.
I like Pete King anyway. But no, Pete King's statement is enough. I wish I lived in New York so I could vote for him for King based on what he said.
That was one of the more. He talks about embarrassing people in the news media being embarrassed. King, he could play a role in The Sopranos, ought to shut his mouth. They're putting this guy in a grave this week. He should shut his mouth because he needs to have the decency, which King has never had the decency to understand this. They are going to put this guy. His family's going to bury him this week. Give it a break until next week. He didn't molest anybody. He did not. No, he didn't. He was never convicted. He was never convicted. So you laugh. You laugh because there's a homophobic reaction right there.
Homophobic? What's that?
Look. The fact of the matter is, this was.
What if you're against child molestation? You're homophobic?
First of all, nobody.
There's no connection.
There was no jury of his peers.
Homosexuality and child molestation.
You know, this has been a tough panel today.
Hang on.
So what?
One at a time.
That's the law, right?
$20 million.
You can't prove that. You can't prove he was dead. That's not the point. The point is that the guy is dead. It was a sad life. It's too bad. The 1.8 million people, by the way, you know who's doing that? That's Sony Records getting themselves a mailing list.
Can I be honest? You're more nuts about defending Michael Jackson than I am about Governor Palin.
Can't stand to listen to Peter King shoot his mouth off like that.
He was
the guy is running for statewide office. I hope he gets beat by 80 points.
He ought to be appointed to the job after saying that he's the only person I have seen on television tell the unvarnished truth about it without embarrassment. Good for Pete King.
I'm not defending his actions or anything else.
Well, you actually are defending his actions. You're saying he didn't molest children.
I find Peter King. Well, first of all, again, I'll go back. You can't prove that, but Peter King certainly can't prove it.
Yes, you can.
And Peter King ought to just keep in mind here. He's got about the sensitivity of The Sopranos, which is what he ought to be.
Pol Pot was never convicted of any crime. We know he was guilty. No, he actually wasn't. He hid in the forest until he died, at which point we criticized him. We didn't wait until Pol Pot was buried.
Now you're comparing Michael Jackson to Pol Pot.
I'm just saying.
Think about his children watching this show. Just think about his children.
Think about the children he molested, Bob.
You don't know that.
What do you mean? Then why did he pay the kid $20 million?
I've read the affidavits.
The fact of the matter is that the guy is now dead. He mutilated himself. He had a lot of problems.
Last point. What were you going to say? You read the transcripts.
I read the transcripts. I read the affidavits. I've prosecuted child sex crimes. He groomed these children and he molested them, and then he paid them off, and that is why he wasn't convicted. And let's remember the children.
Why didn't they prosecute him?
Beckel, that's the last time we bring you on for this topic.
The prosecutors could have prosecuted him.
We are
They
out of
couldn't
time.
prosecute because they never came.